For years, Hungary was Putin's most reliable friend inside the EU. That's over. Hungary's new defense minister said it directly. We are closing the door in front of Russia. Russian intelligence tried to enter through the back door, the new government noticed. Viktor Orban is gone. The country he built to face west is now actually doing it. After years of being seen as Moscow's closest partner inside the European Union, Hungary says it is turning the page. The message from Budapest is unmistakable. Rebuild trust with the West and shut the door on Russia. Hungary has announced a dramatic shift in its foreign policy, with Defence Minister Romulusz Ruszin-Szendi declaring that the country will restore confidence with its allies while cutting off Russian influence. Speaking at the Budapest Energy and Security Talks hosted by the Equilibrium Institute on July 14th, the newly appointed defence minister outlined the government's new strategic priorities. According to Telex, Ruszin-Szendi said Hungary's national interests are fully aligned with those of its Western partners, and stressed that repairing relationships damaged under the previous administration would be a key objective. He then delivered his strongest message on Russia.
Hungary must restore trust with its allies, and as for the Russians, we are closing the door in front of them.
The Hungarian minister revealed that the policy change is a direct response to covert activities from Moscow, noting that Russian intelligence tried to enter through the back door. Ruszin-Szendi emphasized that Budapest is actively monitoring both Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine and ongoing instability in the Middle East, stating that these global security threats will only reach a resolution when governments, militaries, and civil societies collectively commit to ending them. Particular attention was given to Hungary's strained ties with Finland. Ruszin-Szendi, speaking from his experience as a military professional, described the previous government's delays over Finland's NATO accession as completely unacceptable. The Hungarian minister also outlined Hungary's long-term defence strategy. Under NATO guidelines, the country is expected to spend 5% of its GDP on defence by 2035. Ruszin-Szendi confirmed that Hungary remains committed to meeting that target.
Hungary will absolutely meet the 5% spending target by 2035. The current administration must temporarily prioritise immediate public needs. Believe me, I could spend a lot of money on military needs, but there is obviously a time and place for that.
The new approach marks a clear break from the policies of former Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. During Orbán's time in office, Hungary frequently delayed or blocked major Western security initiatives, including Finland's NATO membership. His government also opposed Ukraine's integration into Western institutions and vetoed a $90 billion European Union financial package intended to support Ukraine's defence and budget. Meanwhile, Budapest is negotiating with several European defence companies to encourage them to establish production facilities in Hungary. The government has also signalled its willingness to hold technical-level talks with Ukraine on its path towards European Union membership, while authorities recently lifted a 9-month ban on Ukrainian media imposed under the previous administration. As Hungary redraws its strategic priorities, Budapest is signalling a decisive geopolitical realignment, moving closer to its Western allies while making clear that, in its own words, Russia will find the door firmly closed. The skies above the Baltic Sea turned tense on July 14th as Polish fighter jets scrambled to intercept a Russian reconnaissance aircraft flying without a flight plan and with its transponder switched off. The Ilyushin Il-20 aircraft was spotted roughly 30 kilometers from the coastal town of Ustka, prompting Polish pilots to establish radio contact and order the plane out of the area. It soon turned back towards Russia. Poland's defense minister described the flight as the first attempt by Moscow to probe the country's air defenses directly, calling it part of a wider pattern of hybrid warfare against NATO states. The Polish armed forces said the aircraft was visually identified and escorted away without ever entering Polish airspace.
Interceptions of this kind are a standard element of the airspace security system and enable ongoing assessment of the situation and maintenance of safety in the airspace.
The incident is far from an isolated one. Just days earlier, on July 2nd, 2 Russian Bear Foxtrot maritime patrol aircraft repeatedly approached the HMS Prince of Wales at low altitude over the Norwegian Sea, dropping sonobuoys near the carrier before being intercepted by British and German warplanes. Against this backdrop, Poland is preparing for a longer-term response. Prime Minister Donald Tusk confirmed that British and French troops will train on Polish soil this autumn, part of a broader push by the coalition of the willing to build security guarantees for Ukraine and the wider region.
After the recent speeches, including those of Russian President Putin, speeches full of threats, the latest attack on Kiev, it is clear that this escalation, which I have been talking about for a long time from Russia, is still possible.
Tusk added that Warsaw is preparing logistically and financially for the possibility of a permanent Allied troop presence, even as Poland's own missile reserves remain stretched thin. Taken together, the intercepted spy plane, the tense encounter off Norway, and the coalition's growing military footprint all point to the same reality. Along NATO's eastern edge, watchfulness has become routine, and the margin for miscalculation is shrinking by the day.